Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Burzin and I've been working in the Australian immigration field of business for more than 20 years. In this webinar, we are going to talk about Australian immigration. We are going to talk about work visas, services, what are the do's, don'ts, what can possibly happen, what is not possible, all of these things just to give you an idea so that either your application or your client's application is basically run smoothly. Let us dive into this webinar. Let us have a look. Let us check everything out. But if you liked what you saw, if you liked what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, click the like and share button, and do comment of whatever you like. Continue the vibe.
Two parts are there: education, work experience. If you don't have education, we have a facility to provide you with a qualification through Qualifications Australia, which is AQF certified. Now your education is checked by AQF, which is the same body that we deal with through Qualifications Australia. So we provide you with the qualification, the website which I showed you. We provide you with the qualification, and then we provide your work experience. We put everything together, prepare a file, we submit it to a skill assessment. Skill assessment gives you a positive outcome. Once the skill assessment gives you a positive outcome, then you basically go into nomination. Now these nominations are basically a wide range of nominations. You have state nomination, territory nomination, employer nomination, or you have basically family nomination. 95% is state and territory because the government wants to verify, the government wants to check. Employer sponsorship is a very, very difficult process. The employer has to be first sponsored by the government, has to be taken by the government, has to be approved by the government. That process, it takes 6 to 9 months. The employer, once they get a license, they will get one quota or two quotas. One quota also if they get. Like if you're talking TCS, yes, TCS can employ. Or big companies like, which is the like Wipro, somebody who was saying that, okay, I want 10 people coming down to work for Telstra, I want 20 people or I want 100 people for call center just for a particular project work, it is okay. But if people, the way people, because see, when you get into the business, people are going to tell you, oh, I'm getting work visas. There is nothing like that. It's all bullshit. Complete bullshit. I'll tell you that.
It means if the people is asking for a work, if they are offering some kind of a work permit or work visas.
Work visas is okay. Work visas is okay, but work permit is bullshit. Very, very rare. Very, 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 very rare. There is a work permit which is there. I will tell you very clearly. There are people in Australia. This is basically which I want to tell all the people, all my people who are following me also. I keep on telling them the same thing. There are so many people in Australia who go on a student visa. If work visa was so goddamn easy, do you think that those guys would not get a job over there who are already in Australia? They would get a job first. Do it make sense? Why are so many people who are on student visas coming back again to India or coming back again to their home country? Because the job is not going to be given to a foreigner. Australian authorities and Australian government as well as the Australian employers will prefer taking somebody who's already a part of the country. It's like, are you going to hire from India? Example, you are hiring an admin staff. Will you hire somebody from Philippines or you'll hire somebody from Mumbai, which is there? It is basically, yeah, exactly. It is that simple to understand. Yes, if your country does not have the capacity or does not have that particular thing and you're a rocket scientist, then that is where our government is trying to say. Only if you are a rocket scientist and you are not basically coming into that region, then we will offer you, and that also the employer has to prove. Why him? What is the kind of job? Why does he not get people in Australia in that kind of position? He has to prove all of that to get a license, and then he has to prove why Abdul from India, why not Abhishek from Sri Lanka, or why not basically ABC person from Singapore? Why is it only this guy? So you have to prove all of that, which the whole process is a lengthy process, and that is why people don't involve themselves. So employers don't involve themselves. All these agents who are saying that we do 482 visas or we do this, it's all bullshit. Because there is no nomination that is coming through. They have no connection, they are nothing. And even if they are doing, it is fake and it is fraud. As simple as that. So the sponsorship part is basically from state and territory or from family. That is there. 94, 95%. Because why I'm saying state and territory? Because state and territory have their own list. family has its own list. So when they do that, after the sponsorship is done, then they will go and they will be basically saying that, okay, they go back to the federal government and we say, okay, you look, my client, he's been sponsored. So let's say the state of Maharashtra or the state of Gujarat has sponsored my client into this and said, please come live and work in my state. Can you please give us the visa permission to enter into the country? So we go back to the federal government. So that is the process. Even if you do an employment sponsorship, you still have to go to the federal government and say, okay, bhai, employer has said yes, TCS has said yes, please come and work. See, this is the sponsorship. This is basically what is approved by your government. Please, can you give me a visa?
Strict, we can say.
Sorry?
Documentation part is really strict, we can say.
Very, very strict. And it has permitted. That is where our expertise come in. That is where all these agents fail. They just take money, $50,000, $60,000. In my own building, there are people who are taking $50,000, $60,000. What are they? And I have people who are coming into my elevator. My staff were telling me the other day that there are people who are coming into my elevator and then they were, the people who are working for these companies, they are laughing over there and say, oh, you know what? We had a pharmacist. We told them to pay $5,000 or $25,000 and they paid $5,000. Right now they're paying $25,000. Abhi paise gaye unke. That is it. This is what basically people, that is not who we are. That is not what we have done. We don't take any money which we cannot work on. Our company policy very clearly states we do not take up the application if we believe there is less chance of success. We only take up the application if there is a chance of success. And when I mean chance of success is 95% and above. If there is a chance of success which is less than 95%, then we basically go and turn around and tell our client and say, boss, your application. And I have clients who are there. We have told clients, I had Pakistani clients in Saudi Arabia where we told them, look, your chance is not very good, but this is the only option. What do you want us to do? And he said, no, we trust you, go ahead. And we got them the visa. We knew it was like 80%, 70% chances are there. But we still tell our agent or we still tell our client. And that is where our motto, that is why we are alive in this market. We are there in this market. We have a name in this market. We have the same address, same number, same people and same lawyers who are working in this market for so long. So that is basically what our entire, place and position is. So that's why I said, focus more on Australia, not on other countries. Other countries is all inshallah countries. If it gets it, it gets it. I can get you the job permit. I can get you the job visas for Hungary and for Norway. But I don't deal with Ukraine. I don't deal with any war countries. I don't deal with all of that because there's a lot of political issues that are there. So we have to be very, very careful how we deal where Europe is concerned. But we can still help. We can still work things out. But we only focus on countries where we are confident of outside Australia. It's like we are an Indian restaurant. Our famous is butter chicken and tandoori chicken. But we also serve some Chinese starters along the way. But you don't come to me to eat Chinese starters. You come to my restaurant to only eat butter chicken and tandoori chicken. Because that's what we are famous for the last 20 years. Make sense? That is basically what it is. We are Australian immigration firm. We do Australian immigration. IBA is a platform which basically helps all these lawyers, migration agents, Mara agents to come on board and to work. Now we have Mara agents, so I'll explain this to you so which you'll understand in a better way. We have immigration lawyers and we have Mara agents. Mara agents are agents who also lodge applications. So people who have budget pockets can use Mara agents. People who are like, no, I want lawyers, we can use lawyers also. So FBP has lawyers. There is another brand called AIE, Australian Immigration Experts. They are Mara agents. Both are good. There's nothing wrong. So what happens is our lawyers supervise the Mara agents. They will look into the file, but they don't lodge the applications. But when you apply to a lawyer and you say, okay, our lawyer should do and our lawyer should apply, then our lawyer will take the entire file. They will prepare the entire file and they will lodge the application. So we have both these options and we have Qualifications Australia, which is a separate body which I explained to you about. So these are the major three basically bodies that we have where we do and work for Australia. So we are facilitators. IBA is a facilitator which facilitates the platform. So I have the top. I don't just get any lawyers. We have basically a management, we have a body where we evaluate all of these things. We look into that. We have lawyers who apply. We don't just take every lawyer. We have to see if a lawyer is junior. We have multiple lawyers, but we will see. We put them under a head lawyer. We will see. We will work things out. And we will see how it goes. But it goes under the responsibilities taken by our group of lawyers which are there. Then we have another body which is AIE, which is Mara agents. So our lawyers supervise that body also. So everything is basically into tight control. Not just, you just take an application like people do. We are very, very strict in our applications. We are very strict. We have a lot of compliances that we have to follow. And we follow a lot of company compliances also to make sure that the client's case is handled very well. From the sale till he gets his visa. As I mentioned earlier, 94 to 95% is state and territory, which is the government nomination. Then you have family nomination, which is a certain percentage. And very, very few, like 1% to 2% could be basically employer nomination. Just 1%. Until and unless you are a rocket scientist and you are not eligible to basically live and work anywhere, and Australia cannot find that particular person, only then you will be allowed, you will be getting that. Now I'll explain this part for you to understand. Like in other countries, the population is not so much, people don't like to work so much. In Australia, it is a country continent. People are coming in. And the government of Australia basically wants people to come, live, work and settle in Australia, not come in, spend time here and earn money and send your money back to your home country. No, that's not what they are looking for. What they are looking for is people coming in and people living over here, people staying over here. And if they stay over here, they pay tax, the economy increases. So what they've done is they've created something called a Wage Act. So the bare minimum wage act is $24.10, which I was mentioning to you, like per hour. Now, average salary is about $75,000 a year. Now, if I have to hire an admin person, like me, I have 5 businesses in Australia. If I have to hire an admin person, why will I hire from India or from any other place? Why? First, as an employer, I will rather hire only from Australia. If I hire from Australia, then it becomes much easier.
Some of the people are asking for study in Australia as well. But I don't have some sort of direct connection to
Study in Australia, don't go. India is level 3 passport. Australian government does not want Indians to come on student visas. They want Indian. Australia, a Prime Minister and Indian Prime Minister, they have signed a free trade agreement. They have signed a treaty with each other. Indian Prime Minister went to Australia and said, told our Prime Minister Anthony, I want nuclear, I want uranium, because I want to set up nuclear power plants in India for power. So give me nuclear. The first thing for the free trade, our Prime Minister turned around and told Mr. Modi that I want people. That is what I want. But I want people on permanent basis. I don't want people coming over here and just studying and then going back, because that's not what we want. So the major focus of Indians is the highest rate right now, acceptance, where Australian immigration is concerned. That is why our focus is more Commonwealth. See why India, Commonwealth country, speak English, do their jobs, not a hard race to work with, very easy to work with, very friendly people, warm people, come do their jobs, go home, have a family time and live a life. That is basically. Plus, once they come to Australia, they don't send money back, they stay there, they build the economy over there. And I would say currently right now in Australia, one of the largest populations of Australia are Indians. Indian origin.
Okay.
So focus on Australia, stand strong, market strong, turn around and say you are the only one who has Australia. We are the only Australian immigration legal firm where in India, where we have lawyers to represent. Now when we say we, it is not me, I'm not a lawyer, but we have lawyers who will represent our client. We have migration agents who will basically work on behalf of our clients. Basically, when your client's application comes through, at that point of time, what happens is, the technical team will basically look into the application and will see whether they can be taken up or not. On prima facie basis, they will look into an application. They will say, yes, we can go ahead with the application. Then the applicant basically signs up with you. You pay funds to us and sign up with the application because we are your outsourcing partners. Once you start with the application, there are a certain amount of documents which will be asked for. Once those documents come through, then the application will be sent to our lawyers. The amount that you pay does not go into an account. It goes directly to Australia. It goes into a trust account, into a lawyer's account. The amount stays there till they evaluate the application, diagnose the application, and check the application. If they feel that yes, they can take the application on and they can basically start with the application, process with the application, or proceed with the application, then they will ask you to start working with authority fees or whatever else is required. If they feel that yes, they cannot basically do or they cannot continue with the application, 100% money will be refunded back from the lawyer's trust account back to you so that you can hand it over to your client. This is our process of how we basically work, how we've been working now for the last 20 years. We can't give guarantee on visas. That also I'll tell you. We are not the government. We are not the authority. We don't own the country. But we fight. It's like a lawyer or a doctor cannot give you a signed guarantee that yes, I will save his life or I will save him from jail or I will save him. But we do our best and we are the best in the market.
Correct.
Nobody touches us where we are concerned. We are the best of the best in the market. That I can assure you. Nobody else comes, nobody else can do, or I haven't seen anybody else can do what we can do. What we have done, how many lives that we've saved, how many families that we have done. There may be other people, but I don't know about them. I have never come across anybody in the last 10 to 15 years, I would say that. Yes, I had certain people who I knew where I was trained from. They were the best. The people who trained me, people who trained my team, the people who trained me originally, they were basically like high-end lawyers from Australia, high-end solicitors and barristers. They were one of the best into immigration because they are one of the people who had basically written the immigration code of conduct. So those were the kind of people that were there. So I learned from the best. I am very grateful and glad that I learned from the best. And whatever we pass on to our lawyers or whatever we pass on to our agents and stuff, we also understand that they will do their best into the best of their ability to make sure that the application, and we have a handful of applications that have failed with us. We have done more than 4,500 to 5,400 applications up till now, positive outcomes. We must have failed about 4 or 5, not more, because we don't take it up.
Okay.
We just don't take it up. So that is basically something which is there, where our ratio is concerned.
Great. Huge number actually we can say about the conversion ratio.
Yes, we have a whole portal, Abdul. You can show them the portal. In our portal, the portal that I showed you, the success.fppintl, with permission, we have about 1,600 to 2,000 outcomes. So you can basically see for yourself that when an outcome comes, like for example, as I said, we had Chinese clients, but I don't think they must have permitted us, for privacy's sake, to put their outcomes up. But we have everyone who basically gives us the permission to put their outcomes or whatever their outcomes are there, we put their outcomes up across over there on success.fppintl. Our company motto and our policy is very simple. We do not take up your case if we don't believe you have a good chance of success. So follow that process, follow that motto. Even if you take up an application and you give it to us, we will first test it, we will check it, we will see it, we'll diagnose it. And if we feel, okay, no, we cannot take up your application and we cannot move ahead on your client's process or application or whatever it is within the first 10 to 15 working days, we will refund your money back to you so that you can refund it back to your client, because we don't want to put our license to that. If we feel that yes, this is something that we can do and we can take, only then we will take up that application. Otherwise, we will not take up that application at all.